Motherhood in Motion,
the podcast for mothers with ambition.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anushka Kalyanpur-Deluca, co-host of this new podcast, Motherhood in Motion, and founder of Nannies and More. I'm thrilled to be co-hosting with the lovely Constance Moons, who is the author of the Substack, Both and for Ambitious Mothers. If you haven't taken a look, definitely subscribe to her Substack. It is very relevant and interesting. So we wanted to do just a short episode 0 about why we're doing Motherhood in Motion and who we are.
Let us start from the beginning. Anushka and I met in a cafe 3 years ago, I want to say, and we got into a conversation about motherhood. We both had small children, and we were sitting at a community event discussing all kind of things that we wanted to do for the future. Since then, much has changed. Anushka since then has had twins, so now she has 3 kids under 4. I have 1 child at 3.5, and we share a lot of our thoughts and discussions and challenges together. And at some point we said, why should we not share this with a bigger audience, and how can we make this even more relevant for more women around in the UAE? And so we started last year with our survey called Motherhood and Ambition. We got a huge result. We are going to share a little bit within our podcasts, but also from time to time the numbers here and there. And from there we built different stories. We built different headlines. We have different articles. But what we really wanted to bring to you is the stories behind the numbers. The stories that are going to tell a lot about motherhood and ambition, the ups and downs, the challenges, the joys, and everything around it. And this is why we wanted to bring Motherhood in Motion to you as a podcast.
We knew, like Constance said, that the women around us were experiencing very similar things. It wasn't that ambition was linear. We've seen over and over again from our survey that ambition does not halt after motherhood. It recalibrates. For 70% of women, ambition either stayed the same or even increased. We want to channel this momentum that many mothers are experiencing. And the podcast will dig deeper into each of those stories. Motherhood in Motion is really about navigating those decisions, those movements. Motherhood in Motion really explores what happens in those moments of movements between roles, identities, seasons, and geographies, when mothers are actively navigating what it means to build lives that work for both their families and themselves. What we've been really inspired by is that in our survey, we actually saw that 28% of mothers started their own businesses after becoming mothers, and 46% of them want to actually start their own businesses. What we've been really inspired by is that when women face challenges or personal friction points in their own motherhood journeys, they don't just sit with it. They take that challenge and they turn it into solutions. Solutions not just for themselves, but for all mothers, women, and families around them. So we'll be hearing a lot about these solutions as well. So join us on our journey as we speak to inspiring women, many of whom who faced many different types of challenges, as they navigate motherhood, as they make choices for themselves and their families that works for everyone. This podcast is not about doing it all. It's about defining what your all means and finding the right support systems and making the choices that work for you.
For us, the ambition of this podcast is not just to listen. The ambition is really behind that we want to create a language for mother and motherhood. We want everyone to be inspired by the conversations we're going to have. We want to surface patterns across women's experiences, across the different experiences when you become a mother, on how your ambition evolves. We want to connect the research that we have and the research that we might see in other countries with lived realities and solutions. And we really want to contribute to redesign systems around care, around work, and around ambition, because this is what we want to leave behind. There is still a change to be made, and we believe we can support that, all of us out there. But by sharing all of our stories, the different topics we're going to talk about, we believe the change can happen and we can create the systems that we need in order to be mothers and ambition. So both and, as we would call it.
Thank you. We're excited to have you on this journey with us. Motherhood in Motion,
the podcast for mothers with ambition.